Welcome, sinners, to the Cinamen podcast. I'm Chris.
I am Nick.
I'm Tyler.
And today's episode, in light of the recent comedic hit, Mike and Dave Need Wedding Dates, we have decided to tackle wedding comedies. And because I also got married a few weeks ago, but that's just a side note.
Yeah, so sinners wish Cinamen and Chris congratulations.
This kind of makes us experts on this, too, because we are fresh out of your wedding.
We are 2 or 3 weeks out.
Yeah,
So
just
we-
and
very
then
recent.
doing this. So we know what we're doing, right?
We know a thing or two about a thing or two.
I know a thing or two about saying I do
Oh.
with a thing or two.
That's true. He's got us beat.
That's,
Yeah.
just tossing that one out there. Ring on the hand. She liked it. She put a ring on it. What up? But Cineman's Nick and Tyler have seen Mike and Dave Need Wedding Dates. And I guess, how was it, guys? Was it good, bad, kind of in the middle?
I liked it.
I really enjoyed it, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it was funny.
Good.
Our
good
boy
movie.
Zac Efron came through for us.
Right. This
Well,
was
I'm more on Adam Devine's side, but yeah.
Adam
Okay.
Devine. I feel like is definitely up and coming. I mean, he's been in both the Pitch
He's
Perfects.
up and came. Like he's
Yeah,
he's
right.
here.
I'm saying he's more into his movie foray. He's always been kind of a side guy. This he has.
Well, he's a main, not necessarily a huge main character, but he is one of the main characters on Modern Family now.
Is he really?
Yeah, he's got a recurring role on Modern Family.
Well, I know that, but this is a movie podcast and not a television one, Tyler. I'm just giving you shit, man. No,
that's
that's
relevant.
awesome for him. He Workaholics gets super rave reviews.
I love it.
I've only seen bits and pieces. I've never got to see an episode.
It's
of
pretty
it.
funny.
It
You-
definitely
you
wants
want-
more
oh, yeah,
stuff. Yeah.
And I think all three of those guys are the other two guys. Do they make an appearance in this?
Sadly, no. Not that I saw.
Not that I saw either.
Do you know who Montez is?
Is that from Workaholics?
Yeah, he
Okay,
works.
No, I don't watch.
He works at TeleAmericorp with them, and he was the cab driver.
Okay.
When they're like, they don't have money. Oh, spoilers.
Yes, heavy spoilers, of course.
Spoilers always.
Always spoilers. If this podcast was an egg, I wouldn't eat it because it's spoiled.
Ooh.
How long have you been waiting to use that one?
Did it look like I was waiting to use that one?
Sounds like someone.
What was I planning to drop that?
Probably back
Someone
in week
stole
7.
someone
there,
else's
you know?
joke. You know?
I don't know what you're talking about, Tyler. You're crazy. That definitely was not on last week's podcast. But it's
So, yeah,
good.
yeah.
So tell me, but obviously I guess I know that they need wedding dates. I don't know whose wedding it is. I don't know if there's their wedding, someone else's wedding, a family member's wedding. I'll give the floor to you guys. Tell me, give me a plot.
So, yeah.
structure.
So Mike and Dave, they are going to attend their sister's wedding. Jeannie, I think, is her name.
Jeannie Meanie Weenie.
Jeannie Meanie Weenie, as they call her in the movie.
Is she a famous? Is she?
I-
Mike
I-
and Dave are Efron and Adam Devine
Devine.
is
I
Jeannie
didn't
Weenie
know.
Meanie.
Not, if she has credentials, I didn't recognize her.
Okay,
from
all
anything.
right.
I think I've seen her from stuff.
She's been around, I guess.
Now their dad is Richard Jenkins. Or did I see the trailer right?
No, their dad is that goofy ass dude from Dodgeball.
Oh, right. That's even better.
With the glasses, yeah. So he's not goofy though. He's pretty stern. in
Right.
this.
She was in 50-50.
Okay, so she's got a little bit. Of
I don't know who
something.
she was in 50-50.
Right. Okay. Who's their
Oh,
mom?
she's a baby carrot and sausage party.
Another no name.
Another no. Okay.
So they get told they need dates for this wedding to keep them in control because they always have a tendency to sort of ruin their family junctions, despite what they think that they're the shit and stuff.
Now, do they actually ruin these events, or is it more like they get a little too crazy partying and it happens to ruin the event?
Well, it opens up with an awesome montage of them being the life of the party.
Okay.
Lighting fireworks with their cigarettes and jumping on trampolines and kissing girls on the roof and it looks like they're just the life of the party.
Awesome.
And then it immediately goes to them walking into an intervention of sorts. Parents talking about Jeannie getting married and telling them that they need to be respectful at the wedding, and then they go back and remember the same events from the montage, and it's totally different from a totally different perspective.
Oh, okay. All right. Awesome. So you see a more realistic view of what.
Yeah, when they're lighting the fireworks get knocked over and shoot everywhere, and
It
there's
blows up a whole camper.
something
awesome.
catches on fire, and when he's jumping on the trampoline to kiss the girl on the roof, he headbutts her in the face and
Yeah, so she falls, bounces out. It's nuts.
Okay, so in their awesome partying, pursuing, they're causing a ruckus.
Yeah, and I wanted
Okay.
to throw something in I read on IMDb, so I don't know how true it is, but at the beginning of the movie, it states that it's based on a true story kind of.
Does it actually say? Does it say kind of?
Yeah, it does. Sort
Okay,
of.
so
Kind of.
it's out the gate with it. All right.
So on IMDb, it says the film was inspired by the true story of brothers Mike and Dave Stengel, who placed an ad on Craigslist seeking dates for their cousin's wedding in October of 2013, in which the Stengels described their ideal dates as attractive, or our aunts will judge you, but not too attractive, or one of our uncles might grope you. Easygoing, as will probably make up flattering lies about you on the spot, and preferably sisters, but will take friends or even enemies. They also need to own their own dresses because we don't have any, followed by we're both in our 20s, single, dashingly tall, Anglo-Saxon, respectively athletic, love to party, completely house-trained, relaxed, passionate, smell great, have cool hair, clean up nice, boast great tie collections, will promise to shave, love our mother, have seen Love Actually several times, controversial, provocative, short-sighted, with a big picture mentality, raw, emotional, sensitive, but still bad boys.
So they're brutally honest with, I guess, a little fabrication in there.
So,
Maybe.
man, that was a mouthful.
There's no saying that after reading that a girl couldn't have known what she was getting herself into, though. I mean, it's all there. That's a lot of adjectives.
So I don't know if in the real story, if they had the crazy girls pretending to be respectful. I think that was probably just adapted for the movie.
Now the two dates they get, the chick from Parks and Rec, I forget her name.
Aubrey Plaza.
Aubrey Plaza, right? Chris Pratt's girlfriend from Parks and Rec, and the other one is Anna Kendrick.
Yes.
Now when they, I guess, get a hold of the ad that is put out, they see the ad, they respond to it. Are they meaning to go there and just be super crazy? Are they meaning to just go there and have a good time? Like what is their interest in taking the ad, I guess, and what?
They are full on taking advantage of the opportunity to go to Hawaii.
They don't even actually see the ad on Craigslist. The ad goes so viral and so many people respond to it that they end up on a talk show.
Wendy Williams talk show.
Wendy Williams, correct.
Before the girls respond
so
to
they're-
this. So this
while
ad
on the
makes news.
Right. While
Yeah,
on
okay,
the show,
cool.
while on Wendy Williams' show, Aubrey Plaza and Anna Kendrick see the ad, conspire, and end up on this trip.
Yeah, they go to track the guys down, and they're at some kind of restaurant.
Or a bar or some shit.
Yeah, and as they go to leave, Aubrey Plaza runs in front of a car, so Adam Devine can save her. And she pretends like she can't breathe, so he'll give her CPR. And he kind of just breathes into her mouth once, and she like miraculously wakes up, and
She's like, "You saved me," and he's like, "Yeah, I saved your life." Freaks out. It's a big moment. Boom, date secure.
Awesome.
And they're pretty funny. Like I was glad to see that. It wasn't just like a male dominantly funny movie. Like both parties really brought it.
that's true.
Both dudes, both chicks, funny all around.
I think
the sister was funny. Her boyfriend was funny. The parents were funny. Really good film.
I like that the girls are not just...
They weren't like an optional side quest.
They weren't there for the movie
there.
because they needed dates for the movie. They're funny. They are...
Exactly.
I like that. That's
They were
awesome.
good. Yeah, the theater was going pretty good. There was a lot of girls in the theater, and it had them going. So they were into it.
Sinners is probably a good date movie if you're
It's
lady
pretty
likes
raunchy.
comedies.
It's got its raunch, so
That's for sure.
Little warning there, but yeah, definitely.
Is it... I'm just going to come out with the cliche question. Do they hook up at the end? Do they stay? Are they like a couple? They're both dating a chick? What?
It's in my eyes, it was pretty obvious from the start that they were going to end up together.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I mean...
I figured at least one, right?
Yeah. I mean, you can't knock that. It's a relationship movie, so the only two outcomes are they either end up with them or they don't.
Well, Anna Kendrick was pretty interested in Zac Efron the whole movie.
Okay.
But Aubrey
God,
Plaza
it's
was...
Zac Efron. Come on. I'm interested in Zac Efron through the whole movie,
Yeah. And Aubrey Plaza was making a point to ignore Adam Devine the whole time.
Oh, okay. So she tried to keep it just, we're here for the wedding.
Mm-hmm.
We're here to just get a drink on and party up, and that's it. And then Kendrick is the other one over here like, oh my God, Efron. Who's not Efron in this movie, but...
Yeah, but they're both still train wrecks. They're both
Sure. Are they that intentionally, or it's just...
Yeah, they're like really train wrecks.
They
Like,
set
that's the
out,
best word
like
for it.
they are on a mission to just blow this thing out of the water, or like...
They're not trying to sabotage
No,
anything.
it's, yeah.
They're just there for the ultimate good
they're just there
time
to have
and
a good
not
time,
have to pay for the repercussions.
There's no like Game of Thrones motive or anything.
They're
just there to have fun.
Cool.
They wanted a free vacation to Hawaii, and they got one.
So it's a fun movie.
Yeah,
awesome.
Definitely.
That's cool. I like that a lot. Do you guys? No sequel or anything, right? This doesn't set up some like. Do you think there could be a sequel? Maybe like one of them gets.
I've seen stranger movies get sequels.
Yeah, sure. Like some kind of spin-off, like Mike and Dave. Need best men, or like. I'm just spitballing here.
Mike and Dave wedding ringer crossover.
Oh God, that'd be good.
Maybe.
So you think this was one of the better wedding comedies that we got to watch this time around? Where do you place it?
I think it's towards the top of the list.
Yeah,
I don't think it's the top. I mean, I think we all agree on which one was the best.
Right. Sinners, for the wedding comedies, we chose to watch, well, along with our review of Mike and Dave Need Wedding Dates, out now, we chose to watch Wedding Crashers, Bridesmaids, American Wedding, and The Wedding Ringer. So somewhere, it's not at the bottom of the 5, but it's not at the top.
For me.
Right, yeah, I definitely would put it at the bottom now.
Okay. I guess jumping into what would be the bottom, what do you guys, of the 5 we watch, what do you think is?
The one I like the least, probably Bridesmaids.
I agree.
Bridesmaids.
I like Bridesmaids a lot, but it was definitely the bottom.
I'm going to be that guy, and I think at the bottom of our 5 totem here, we have, I think it's going to be American Wedding for me. Now, I have not seen Mike and Dave.
Oh, American Wedding.
No, I'm not saying American Wedding is bad. I think it's the worst of the American Pie franchise of all 4.
See, I put 2 at the bottom.
And I just think, no, 2 is the best.
To me, it goes 1, 4, 3, 2.
Of the American Pies?
Mm-hmm.
Probably 2, 1, 4, 3. But
you put 2 at the very top.
I think 2 is my favorite. And I don't know I can't say if it was the one I first completely saw all the way through, so maybe that's just why I'm attached to it. But every time I watch 2, I think it's
American
a slight
Wedding
step above number 1.
I think American Wedding just has like a special place in my heart because it was like the first R-rated movie that I kind of snuck off while my parents were out, and we had the DVD, and I kind of took it down to my room and put it in so I could watch it. And
they're like
pretended like I'd never seen it.
We're gonna be at the store for 2 hours, and you're like, oh, this movie's an hour and 45 minutes. I got time.
Yeah,
I got time.
So really enjoyed it.
I don't know. I just had American Weddings. Just I feel like they all kind of stepped out of character. Like Stifler wasn't. He was like a different Stifler. He was still an asshole, but he wasn't like. I don't know.
Well, they plant the seeds of his life not going the way he planned it to go. He he's a bus driver. And
yeah,
I guess he's a football coach as well.
I mean, the movie didn't have Chris Ostreicher, right? It's that guy's name in real life.
Chris Klein.
I'm
sorry.
Yeah, God, I'm drawing a blank on that Ostreicher guy. Oh, man, it is.
Yeah,
we're gonna come back to that, sinners.
People are screaming.
Whoever plays Chris
Ostreicher
Ostreicher
right now.
Didn't have him and his girlfriend Heather, right? And
which she is my favorite of the female.
I think she's
American
the most.
Pie cast.
I feel like she's almost the one they like. Okay, let's just go back to show a scene with her because she's there.
Yeah.
Like they gave it all to Tara Reid, especially like in the new one.
Mm-hmm.
Like they gave it all back to Tara Reid. Like, oh, you're still in Kevin's life because we don't know if you slept with them or not. Like that's the mystery of the movie. And I don't know. It didn't have her in it. It didn't have her friend Jessica was not in American Wedding.
That's true.
Yeah, Jessica wasn't there.
It did have the MILF dudes.
Yeah.
No Sherman. Was Sherman in it? Sherman wasn't in it, right?
No.
I don't know. It just took off. Well, it took out so many, and I can understand because it's not a high school reunion, right? You're not going to see all these guys.
Intentional or not, it does kind of showcase the fact that once you get out of high school, people tend to disappear.
True.
I think the American Pie franchise, at least the main 4, not including Naked Mile.
I almost wish they could have waited or something, and I don't know why Ostreicher didn't want to do this movie or why he wasn't in it. Maybe he was doing something else.
I think he did a stint in rehab for a while.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I don't know that this was why, but
it's just not. You watch the first 2, and it's the 5 friends, right? Finch, Kevin, Oz, Jim, and Stifler. And this one, you're -1, and it's like watching a Hangover movie without Doug. Even though he wasn't part of the team, part of the Wolf Pack, he's still there.
Still there.
It still would not have been a Hangover without him. Maybe that just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. January Jones is good to look at. She's a nice addition. The stripper scenes are obviously funny. I
love the dance scene.
The gay bar dance off.
That was good.
That was classic. I mean,
I
they
do
both brought their shit.
I love that they didn't make Stifler like super homophobic.
Yeah, I agree.
Because he could have been like it would have easily.
They definitely put him in the situation where he could have been extremely.
And if you watch the
intolerant.
first two movies, you would think like, oh man, he's gonna fight every gay guy there because he's gonna piss someone off or something, you know. And it turns out, you know, he's just like
he beats him in the best way
in the dance
they
off.
can be beat.
Like overly uncomfortable, you know, like, well, you are ass jockey, you know, my team, your team, whose team? I don't know. Good movie. I just think, I don't know. You said Bridesmaids was the bottom of these,
and the bottom's pretty high. Like I expected going into this week, I was gonna be like, I don't know, wedding comedies just didn't sound that exciting. Like after we came up with the idea, and then as I started to watch the movies, I got really excited for it. Like American Wedding was the first one I watched, and I forgot how funny it was.
I did forget a lot about that.
So I went through, I was laughing my ass off the whole time. Then I moved on to Bridesmaids, which I would have told you a couple weeks ago I didn't like the movie at all. And it definitely was a lot better the second time through.
So why is it at the bottom for you guys?
It's just it's a lot of cringe comedy. Which I found out this week that wedding comedies are majority cringe comedy.
Like nothing to make you laugh out loud at.
There was some stuff.
Like Bridesmaids was one I actually found myself not being like, ah ha ha, oh my god, like I gotta keep my voice down because I'm gonna wake my kids.
You didn't LOL?
Yeah, like you said, a lot of cringe a lot of situations where the stuff's happening and it's so like awkward.
Yeah.
You're almost like, I want to look away. Like I can't imagine actually being there because I just want to look away. Like her and the girl are trying to give the speech, and each one tries to like take back the other one, you know, and it's still getting just like more awkward, like more weird. And I was like, man, this is kind of brutal to watch. I'd hate to be there at that situation. I'm glad that didn't happen at my wedding. Like,
what's weird is Mike and Dave had the least amount of that. Like Mike and Dave Need Wedding Dates had the least amount of cringe comedy out of all.
Was it more like laugh out loud? Like,
yeah, it was definitely closer to Wedding Crashers. It was as close to Wedding Crashers as we got without being
that's
Wedding
a great
Crashers.
one. That's a good movie.
There was even a callback to Wedding Crashers.
Yeah,
they were going to give a speech, and then cousin Jeannie, was that her name?
Terry.
No, cousin Terry. Yeah, so cousin Terry was going to give a speech, and apparently her neighbor was Chris Rock, and Chris Rock helped her with the speech. And Adam Devine and cousin Terry have like a rivalry going on, so he wants to take her out of the equation. So he's going to put some eye drops in her drink, like they do in Wedding Crashers. And Zac Efron's trying to stop him, and he's like, "You can't just Wedding Crasher." And yeah, I thought that was neat, the callback to Wedding Crashers.
That's pretty clever. I like that. And geez, after I saw that in Wedding Crashers, I don't know that I have the guts to do that to someone. Bradley Cooper was on, hugging that shitter all night. That would suck.
Well, didn't they mention that they took out the active ingredient that makes you throw up in eye drops?
Well, I know it'll still make you sick. Somebody in our high school did it.
Really?
To a teacher?
No, to a student.
Oh, was it to a student?
Student to student, yeah, somebody did it.
Man, gosh, I'd be pissed.
So, anyways, I heard that the student went home sick. And Chris, I think it was actually our junior year because we weren't there to.
And I think they said
confirm this story or be an eyewitness.
I think Owen Wilson put like an ungodly amount.
Oh yeah.
I think only like
he almost emptied the thing in there.
Like an essential oil, you put like 1, 2, 3 drips. That's probably enough.
Think about essential
He was
oils.
oh, okay. Well, 1, 2, 3 drops would have probably done the trick.
Yeah.
And instead he was like, oh shit! Look at the time. I forgot I was even pouring that. Like that's.
I love when he decided to do it too. When everyone was praying, so like everyone had their eyes closed.
Yeah.
That's so smart.
Well, the fact that he didn't want, he's like, no man, I'm gonna beat him at his own game. I'm just gonna, be who I am.
What did he say that like, made him change his mind?
Oh, he was like, Bradley Cooper's like,
the baby,
and I picked up the baby seal,
baby otter,
and as I wiped the mud off its eyes, and its whiskers were flopping mud, and Vince Vaughn was like, Owen Wilson was, just like, all right, give me the goddamn eye drops, like, I'm gonna put this fool under right now.
Okay, well, while we're talking about it, it's Wedding Crashers. Is it number 1 on all the lists around the table?
Definitely. Yeah, of course.
Obviously, right? I mean, I don't know why I asked.
I think Wedding Crashers holds a spot in like my top 10 movies of all time.
Yeah, I don't think it's possible to make a wedding comedy that can outshine Wedding Crashers.
Yeah, no, I agree with you there. I know it was at one point, right? It was the highest R-rated comedy at one point.
Until The Hangover.
1 and 2.
Another kind of wedding comedy. Yeah, go figure.
Nice.
That
good team.
We didn't get to explore.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing we didn't do The Hangovers. First of all, I wouldn't be willing to do all 3. because 2 and 3 were objectively garbage.
Yeah, I agree.
1 was amazing. But...
Yeah, 2 is like 2 got a bad rap because it copied the first one so much, and then the third one came out, didn't copy them, and still got a bad rap. So it's one of those like.
So Bradley Cooper is in the top 3 highest grossing R-rated comedies of all time.
What's the other one?
He's in Wedding Crashers.
Oh, so 1 and 2?
Yeah, I think 2 is the highest one.
Yeah, 2
and then
2 made so much money coming hot off of number 1, especially with the bigger opening weekend burst.
Yeah, it had a midnight launch and all this stuff.
Yeah.
I think I was there for it actually, so I helped. But Wedding Crashers, I was talking to you about this, Tyler, on our way to see Mike and Dave. I was telling Cinamen, Tyler, Wedding Crashers has stood the test of time very well. Like, I hadn't seen it in probably like 5 years, and I was rolling when we watched it again.
For a movie that's 11 years old now, it came out. We were 15,
05.
almost 16, something like that. And I remember it was a big deal when we, like, a bunch of some of our older friends were like, "I went and saw Wedding Crashers and it was awesome," and I was like, "Oh, okay, I guess it looks cool. I like Vince and Owen Wilson, whatever."
Yeah, fucking dynamic duo, man.
Oh man, yeah, that is them. That's their best work. And I'm a huge Vince Vaughn fan, but that is definitely Owen Wilson's best work.
Well, I think that's Vince Vaughn's best movie and Owen Wilson's best movie. Like, even apart, together, whatever. I mean, The Internship. Is that what it's...
Internship, yeah.
Yeah.
That was okay. It was fine.
That was good.
Like an unrated version. That you get to hear Owen really pound that F word in,
Yeah, and the best thing about Wedding Crashers is they use the F word 15 times, maybe.
I wouldn't say that's the best part about Wedding Crashers.
No, I'm not. Yeah, I guess best part's wrong. But a good thing about Wedding Crashers, right? Maybe 15 times of the F word used throughout the whole movie.
Yeah.
But they're placed so well. It's not just like, oh, fuck this, fuck that, fuck everything. It's like, it's put in the sentence right between the exact words, like...
They hit the bullseye.
Yes, they did. Which, just, I don't know. It's one of those that didn't have to be overly raunchy.
Yeah, they were like wordsmiths with the way they did it. Like,
wordsmiths, that's a good one.
Just put it right there for the best punch, and it delivered.
Like Hooked on Phonics was like, we're going to tell you how to put this where it needs to be to get the most laugh.
Like
for your
tactical
buck.
cussing, Like
Tactical, yeah. There's a mathematical formula to it, right? Definitely the best by far. Like, I think this was the first movie I saw Bradley Cooper in.
Yeah,
definitely.
And it's weird him playing a bad guy, right?
Well, him playing an asshole.
But he did it so
yeah.
good.
Yeah. Oh, you definitely hate the dude.
Oh yeah. From the minute, even when he kind of like, I think his first line he says to Rachel McAdams is something along the lines of like, "Honey, honey, you did awesome." Like, with one of those like, "Stop saying what you're doing because it doesn't matter because I'm a guy, and take my word for it." "Oh, okay, honey, I'm glad you agree with me." Like, and you're just like, "Okay, you are."
I love when he goes, like, he runs after Vince Vaughn. Or he's going after Owen Wilson.
Owen Wilson's chasing him.
No, I'm talking like the very end.
Oh, okay, sorry. I thought you were talking
where, Owen Wilson's talking to Rachel McAdams?
Yeah.
And, confessing his love or whatever, and then dude runs up to get him, and Vince Vaughn just lays him out. So good.
Left-handed, too. Southpaw.
And Owen Wilson was like, pretty sure I had him. But it's like, dude, he was to you.
Yeah.
And you hadn't moved. I'd have thought, if I were Vince Vaughn, I'd be like, oh no, he's about to get his ass kicked again. Like.
Can we just talk about what crashing a wedding, right? I mean, how does that, like, they all were these massive weddings. I have yet to go to a wedding that big, and we've been to a few.
I think they planned that on purpose.
Well, for the movie.
No, for...
I think they choose the biggest...
Strategically, I think they pick big weddings because it's easier to blend in.
Right. Well,
like, even speaking on Cinamen Chris's wedding, it was a relatively small wedding, and there was still, I didn't know, half the people. Someone could have walked up and said, "Hey, I'm related to the bride," and I would have been like, "Oh, it's very nice to meet you."
I think it would only be fun if it's that type of wedding. Though.
Yeah.
Like, you'd really have to make sure you go... Well, they... I guess you said to stay under the radar, but they... showed out. I mean, they were the center of attention at these weddings. They were like holding the bride. They were like cutting cakes with the groom and bride.
They were cutting cakes, yeah.
I mean, I don't get how nobody questioned, like,
yeah,
"Hey, it's so good your cousin Johnny."
Well, it's such a...
Oh, shit.
I don't want to say it's such a, like... It's not a fake event by any means, but, like, people go there and they put on their best, make the best of this. Like, you go to a wedding and you just want to be sociable and you want to be friendly. No one...
I don't want to cut the cake with a family member, much less a stranger.
But they're professionals.
It is.
So essentially, they've been doing this for years, and improv.
But that's
right?
not going to
Yes,
make me
and,
want to invite
right?
them into my special moment.
No, I agree. It is a little unbelievable with that aspect. If
don't
two
think
guys
so.
who we didn't know came up with me and Haley and were like, "Hey guys, we're gonna help you cut the cake and put it in your mouths," Haley would have been like, "The fuck are you doing? Like, get the fuck away from me. This does not concern you." And I think every bride is like bridezilla on their wedding day. Don't matter what they say they're gonna be, they're bridezillas. She would have been. All those brides would have been like, "Honey, who's that 6'4" guy standing next to you with a knife in his hand, getting ready to selfie with us?"
I
You know,
don't know.
like-
I don't know if that's true. Like they were very, very good at like I don't
Everything
know.
they
They're
did
very
was
good
believable
people
except
persons,
standing
you know?
in with the wedding, like the actual cutting cake and stuff. Then
Yeah.
you're putting yourself too much attention
That's
on
like
yourself.
let's
Positive
get a
or not.
wedding party photo op, and then they jump in and everyone's cool with it. No.
And every one of all them's like, "Oh, I think he's Luigi Ballaghini's son Christopher, the orthodontist," or whatever he says. "Oh, that's fucking Mary Lou's cousin twice removed."
I don't know. I think if the bride and groom have been drinking enough, and if they'd been friendly with them, and then the time to cut the cake comes, and everyone's just having a good time, and there's music playing, and I think I think it's possible. It's not probable, but they only did that in like one of the weddings, one or two.
Maybe a wedding or two they could get on that level, especially if you have like a real bride and groom that's just like open and like,
Yeah.
like, living life and we don't care. Hey, stranger, come join us. Like maybe, but I definitely
These
think
guys were wedding experts.
some of these were fabricated,
They've probably been to more weddings
They're not family
than
experts,
anyone
though.
else.
and they only have like 3 weeks of wedding season, so it must be like,
3 weeks.
Like-
Well, he
multiple
says we have
weddings a
3
day.
big weddings coming up, wedding season. You see the montage, and then they're like, "Oh, we're done. Oh, wait, Christopher Walken's daughter's getting married. Let's do
Yeah, then
this
he says
last."
something about wedding season being over.
Yeah.
And it's weird. And it might just be where they're at. I don't know where in the United States they're at, but he was like, "It's the Kentucky Derby of weddings." And I
I
was
don't
like,
think literally he was
"That's
talking
not."
about Kentucky.
No. I'm saying, but that's not a big thing. He should have been like Super Bowl of weddings.
No, the Kentucky Derby is a big thing.
I don't think it's bigger than like the
There
Super
was a
Bowl.
better analogy. I agree.
Yeah, I'm saying like fuck WrestleMania would have been like a bigger like, "This is the WrestleMania of weddings. This is WrestleMania wedding, brother." Like,
I think they just meant.
I just thought it was
horse
weird.
racing. Kentucky Derby's the top.
I'm saying they might be fucking in Kentucky or wherever that happens. I don't know. I'm saying I thought there was a better analogy. Okay, someone said, "Chris, Maple Woods is the Kentucky Derby of schools." I'd be like,
Yeah, and
so
if neither one of them are into horse racing, who gives a shit? Like, why would bigger?
How do you know they're
sports-
not? How do you know they're not into horse racing?
Well, we don't know anything about them. They went under 50 different aliases.
Obviously, they got money for like 1,000 different suits and like wedding presents every week.
The one thing I didn't like about Wedding Crashers, at the movie, it all kind of happens at once. Bradley Cooper calls his douchey friend, who has a douchey private detective guy, must be Matt Dillon from There's Something About Mary, and he's like, "Yeah, man." He gives him the 2 fake names. He's like, "I'm gonna do some research on them." Now I think the priest Vince Vaughn was talking to at the wedding table went and told.
Yeah.
But they play it off like Bradley Cooper gets this call, and he's like, "The Wedding Crashers. Oh, my buddy Trapster found out everything about him." And I'm like, "How?"
well,
we
he's
didn't
a private
even,
detective. If he went to,
but he had the wrong name to begin with, and it's not he didn't have any other information.
That's true.
Didn't have an address. He didn't have a workplace. He just said, "Look into this charity location." Well, yeah, you could be like, "That doesn't exist, so these guys are fake." But to be like, "Oh, turns out I found them. I think I found these 2 guys that you're talking about in real life."
I found photos of them at every wedding they went to for the
Yeah.
past. Another thing that they said for the whole 17 years we've known each other.
Yeah. Well, yeah, something like that. Some high amount of teen years.
I don't know. I was thinking somewhere in there. I don't know. He said 17 years we've known each other, but then he said at his 6th birthday or something. How old was he when his parents died?
He was like 12, 13, I thought.
Was he a teenager? Okay, then that's where
I'm not sure.
we're good. We're good. We course corrected that.
Yeah. I thought he said like middle school
Sorry,
or
I
like
felt
late,
bad.
early
We
grade
went from
school, something like that. Because, yeah, he said for like the whole 17 years we've known each other, but secretly going on little hunting trips around the world.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. I don't know. It was... God, that movie, I was really worried it wouldn't stand the test of time. And then you told me, you were like, "Yeah, man, it's..."
Yeah, I was the least worried about that one. I saved it for last for a reason.
I watched it first for the same reason. Like, I
Yeah.
wanted it, you know?
I put it in the middle. I try to put the movies I haven't seen first. So I think I watched The Wedding Ringer, which was surprisingly good.
I thought it was hilarious. For
Like
sure.
did it go to theaters or just had a really kind of limited release?
I thought it was just like, went straight to video, but I
think it probably had some kind of release.
like a really low theater run.
At least select theaters. Like it went to some. It touched a theater at some point. I'm pretty sure.
And I was not super excited to see this movie. Josh Gad is only okay to me. He's kind of Josh Gad in every movie.
He's fine as a side character.
Yeah.
Seeing him as a main character was different. I could have definitely still enjoyed the movie with someone else.
I think they could have got almost any guy to...
He wasn't the star of the movie.
No, and he was really... I feel they toned Josh Gad down a lot, but also to bring Kevin Hart up. This was Kevin Hart's best film to me. He got to utilize his cussing. He got to run wild with it, and he was so good at playing the role he had. Like he works at the Best Man Inc. Right? You hire him to be your best man, and he does an awesome job. He remembers everything about you. He gets you a few extra guys if you need it. He makes you have an awesome bachelor party. He's got these package deals. He knows what he's doing. He knows his shit, and Kevin Hart played it so well. And I thought I read this on IMDb. He said this was his favorite movie that he's got to done because he got to utilize skills from like his stand-up routine, and like his improv, and just really just let it fly. And I don't know. Surprisingly funny film. He was fucking hilarious.
Yeah, it seems like to go to a wedding where you don't know anyone, you just have to talk fast and be able to bullshit, Like, it seems like no one's going to question you if you go to a wedding. Like, they assume you're invited, and if you could just talk fast and pretend like you know what you're talking about, then people are just going to let it slide.
Yeah, all these movies just seems like if you're careful enough, you can get into a wedding and just go unnoticed and get the free drinks and enjoy all the perks. And when really, like, back to Wedding Crashers, they wear like a Purple Heart to one of them.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
Not one veteran or active, service member was like, dude, tell me about your medal, man. How'd you get it? And, because they'd be like...
Well, they lost a lot of good men out there.
Yeah. Hey, they tell us multiple times. They tell all those women they lost a lot of good men out there.
Hey, they close ass, man. It must work. So.
Speaking of closing ass, the best men he gets in The Wedding Ringer. Right.
I was going to say, I really liked how it wasn't like a bunch of... I guess he maybe implied that, like, hey, man, with more time, I could have had a bunch of 10 out of 10, like, well-groomed,
guys that know what they're doing.
With fades and, haircuts and all this, super groomed dudes. And then he shows up with, like, this motley crew.
It is.
Ragtag band of, like, swashbucklers. And he's like, these are your boys. And even his wife says something about it, right? Kaylee Cuoco or whatever.
Yeah. I was worried when, I first saw your groomsmen, but, they all seem like really good guys.
Pretty good.
They all had their own interesting, party trick and quirks to them. And the fact that, right, he hires them, right? Because a bunch of them, it's just like off the street, almost like open auditions, right?
No, I think, some of them were auditions.
Some of them he had as like friends, like his bodyguard, I think was one of them. Either way, they, I guess do a little role playing up until they finally meet Doug, right? Josh Gad. And out the gate, they are in character, just like, Doug! Man, I haven't seen you forever. Oh my God. Like, they just jump right into it and they maintain it. And I was like, that is awesome. That is commitment. I hope my friends would do something like that,
Yeah, they were like his merry men. Like, they really just rode in there and, like, took it by the horns.
Yeah, he was even confused. Like, do I know you guys?
I like how it showed his, like, level of disparity. Like, Kevin Hart's like, 50,000, done. He's like, oh, okay. Well, like, even Kevin Hart, who helps desperate men, has never had one. I can tell this, like, sad, pathetic dude just strolled into his office.
He's never had to pull off
Nobody's accepted the $50,000. Well, yeah, the golden tux, right?
Yeah.
Over $50,000 to pull this whole thing off. Probably more than that when it's all said and done. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, he said plus expenses.
Plus expenses, right. Okay, so I got another question. Kaylee Cuoco, who was in this a whole 10, 15 minutes maybe, is she funny somewhere? Like, I know she wasn't supposed to be the funny one, but...
Big Bang Theory.
She's funny
good.
On Big Bang.
She's good in that?
Well, if you like Big Bang Theory, it gets a lot of shit. You either like it or you don't.
I feel like... She's
like top billed, but she didn't really need to be. Like,
she's not. To me, she's not even the funniest on Big Bang Theory.
No,
well, right.
Bernadette,
Yeah,
but I don't know why they had somebody. Like, why did she have to play that role? That role could have went to. You could have saved money on your
You could have
budget
got any normal
by hiring
girl
somebody,
to-
somebody who doesn't get paid $1 million an episode to do the big thing.
Not only that, I feel like they spent a lot of time with Kevin Hart and the groomsmen and making them really funny. And then they're like, oh, yeah, we need these guys to be getting married. Let's just shoehorn in a relationship.
Hold on, let's have the father-in-law hate the son-in-law. Oh, and then also he's got like a bunch of like rugby friends, and we're gonna have this funny scene where they
Play
knock the
Longest
shit
Yard.
around out of these guys. And I'm sorry, Alan Ritchson was one of the groomsmen, right? He played Raphael in the new Ninja Turtles.
Thad Castle, Blue Mountain State fans.
Yeah,
The one with the stutter.
Yeah, with the stammer. He's a big guy. I'm like, you couldn't knock around one old dude out there. Like, you couldn't just absolutely maul someone.
And you have Hurley. Hurley's huge.
Exactly.
I don't know what your real name
Hurley
is.
from Lost was one of the
it's
one of the guys.
Hurley, yeah, like I think
I did love his throwback to Lost when they get on the plane.
yeah,
It's
that's
like
right.
I don't feel right about this flight, guys.
Oh, throwback. They had Josh Peck was
yeah.
one of the weddings Kevin Hart takes Josh Gad to kind of show him like how he's like does things. And Josh Gad is the best man at whatever wedding they're at, and he has the speech, and he's like, "Oh, forget this. I'm gonna give you one from the heart." And
You mean
Kevin's
Josh Peck.
What'd I say?
You said Josh.
I'm
Gad.
sorry, yeah. Josh Peck is the best man at the wedding Kevin Hart and Josh Gad go to. And then you kind of see the whole, like, hey, he's trying to give a real speech from the heart, and he can't say a single word. Like, that's real, Josh Gad. You wanted real? That's it. It
Josh
doesn't
Peck.
exist. Damn, no, he's talking to Josh Gad. Because he's like, you want to see real?
Okay.
Come with me.
Yeah.
I
and
don't
so
know
he
what's in
sees-
quotes and what's not.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm a terrible time explaining this.
No, you're doing fine. You're doing
Doug and Bick Mitchum, right? Kevin
that's
Hart
his name, Bick
and
Mitchum.
Josh Gad are watching one half of Drake and Josh, and they see he cannot perform the speech. And obviously, at the very end of his pathetic best man speech, Josh Peck is like, "Wolverines go!" or "Go Wolverines!" or whatever.
Yeah, he gave like
his
a
little
Red Dawn
throwback
call.
to the terrible Red Dawn remake, where he doesn't even look like a quarterback. Weird, whatever. Anyways, I just thought
Much
the
less
puns
Thor's
thrown in
little
there.
brother.
I like it when movies kind of do something like that. That's fun to me.
I really, really enjoyed Wedding Ringer, but it's also the movie I had the most problems with.
It had
The flat relationship, which they kind of shoehorned at the end, was like they're not really happy together, and I feel like that just came out of left field.
Well, they pushed Josh Gad says like 5 times in the movie, like, a girl like her doesn't end up with a guy like me. And it's almost like, you're almost to the point where you're like, dude, she loves you. Fucking shut up and deal with it. And then at the very end, like you said, they almost shoehorn it in like, he's a good guy, I guess, and he'll support me and keep me stable, but I don't really care for him.
It seems like they kind of tried to lay the groundwork when he was trying to write the best man speech, and he didn't really have anything to say about why he loved her, but I don't know, it just didn't seem. No parts of the relationship really seemed real, and I don't know. That was really forced, and then there was a couple moments that just like were way off the reservation.
Yeah, before I take you up on those, I do think it felt like the movie was like halfway or 3/4 of the way like thought out, and they were like, let's do it, let's greenlight it, and then like maybe didn't go in with the finished product, and then thus the whole back half of the third act is this forced, like them trying to like make a story out of their like romance.
Yeah, like we
and
got
stuff.
the story, we need the ending.
Yeah, it definitely felt very rushed, or we went in there and just kind of half-assed it,
And
ran out of budget or something. I don't know.
And I'm sure a lot of it was improv, because a lot of comedy movies like that are just like half a script and then like, yeah, say some outlandish shit and we'll edit it into a funny movie. And like I said, the groomsmen stuff definitely works. Dude with the mullet in the wheelchair, hilarious.
Yeah, that was right. He was in a wheelchair.
Yeah. He was upset because he didn't get to crush ass.
Sorry,
He was
guy.
promised that he was going to get to crush ass, and then they tell him he's in a wheelchair. It's... Oh, I love at the end when he stands up out of the wheelchair and everyone's just shocked.
Like miracles happen, bro.
That was so good.
Miracles happen. Okay, so one of the things I had a problem with, the dog.
Definitely
Right?
the dog
Like
scene.
the dog and the okay, I don't remember everything though. So how does the dog? Sorry, Justin. We had to take a momentary hiatus, but I'll give you something to sort of get us back in the groove here. So, the problems with Wedding Ringer, and you guys will have to help me out because I don't remember all of the entire
there's a few
scenario.
of them.
Yeah, there's two that stand out to me.
Right, the big one that I remember, the dog. Scene with the dog.
All right. Okay. Now this was when
Bachelor party.
Kevin Hart is throwing the bachelor party as promised in their little Golden Tux package deal.
And they did like a real kidnapping
Yeah,
mission to get him to this
one of those
bachelor
like
party.
kidnap this guy. He doesn't know what's going on. Surprise! Oh, bachelor party! And he's like tied up, right? And there's this hot chick whose name was
Ooh, it was
something like almost like
Semi-exotic.
yeah, There we go. Semi-exotic. I don't want to say stripperish. Semi-exotic, right? And
well, she was a stripper.
she's kind of like touching on him, doing some grinding, right? Teasing him a little bit. They put a
And
blindfold
she is
over him.
way better looking than Kaylee Cuoco.
Oh my god, yeah.
Definitely.
And Kaylee Cuoco is pretty good looking too.
Yeah,
I
and
guess.
that's not to knock Kaylee.
But this chick
girl
was like
way
a
definitely
total
she was hot.
knockout, right?
Sorry, Kaylee.
Nadia, maybe? No.
I would big bang this girl.
Almost
all
like a
over.
Nadia.
Oh, that's a good
Oh,
theory.
Sorry,
that was a
Kaylee.
good one. Big bang this girl. Yeah, that's a good one. They blindfold Josh Gad, and they put some peanut butter on his stuff, and he's like, "Oh my god, what's gonna happen? This is really weird."
I'm getting married. I love my wife. Don't
Yeah.
touch my dick.
Yeah, that's right.
They release some bloodhound or beagle or something, and it comes and starts licking his thing with the peanut. And it's just the outside, right? It's not. Oh no, it is his.
No,
his
yeah,
pants-
it's his.
his pants are off.
It's his goodies.
Yeah, so it's the peanut butter's all over his hardware, and the dog
It's software.
bites it.
No.
Right?
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay.
Chomps down on the guy's on his penis, and they're trying to like pull the dog off, and it's just like a scene in Strange Wilderness. That one with Steve Zahn and like Jonah Hill and like a bunch of those weirdos are hunting Bigfoot, where like the turkey bites Steve Zahn's dick.
Okay.
And they're pulling, and it's just like cartoony, like really stretchy, like.
Seemed like something out of like a Fairley Brothers movie.
They actually do that in a movie we're going to be watching here in a few weeks in Bad Grandpa. He gets
Yeah.
his,
Oh, okay. I know what you're talking
gets his
about.
dick stuck in a vending
Yeah,
machine.
But
so the hound, this hound,
Yeah.
it bites, his hardware, as you put it. And it's like, it's there for a while. Like, they're doing a lot. Like, don't they get in the car? They go somewhere, they get stopped.
No. The guy with the mullet ends up shooting a gun in the air to calm everyone down.
The dog
and
gets lockjaw.
and it kills the dog. The dog gets lockjaw. Dog's
Oh,
stuck.
that's
Yeah.
right.
They get pulled over by the police. They're all wasted. They get pulled over on the way to the hospital. And then the old dude driving the van just like takes off. And then it leads to like another outlandish, like huge action movie jump over an unfinished bridge,
Yeah.
which it's just too much for a comedy. I really don't like those moments when like the whole movie seems somewhat grounded in reality, and then all of a sudden you have this outlandish thing that just doesn't fit.
Yeah, something like the movie's kind of beating along, right? And then all of a sudden you just have this, like you said, crazy outlandish event happen that totally draws you away from where the movie was going. And although it's funny, but there's something biting your dick and it pulling it and it's stuck and you got to get him somewhere.
It was a really
It's-
long scene for something that
yeah.
would have been maybe funnier if it was like a real, like, quick,
Yeah.
like, haha, get your laughs in, just get out. And they really drug it on. And I was like, oh my God, I can't take this.
Well, see, like, you ever seen Due Date?
It's been a while.
They have some similar moments like that in Due Date where they're like, they accidentally go into Mexico without their passports or something, and they're trying to leave, and they get arrested, and they're driving with the motorhome, and it, if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking
It's
about.
like outlandish funny, like
Yeah, it's a little too much. In the Wedding Ringer, they also had another one with the dinner scene. First time Kevin Hart meets the bride-to-be's family.
Kaylee Kuwiko's family.
Yeah,
And she has mom, dad, sister,
grandma.
grandma. And the grandma is, oh God, I don't remember her name either.
I don't.
The great Gam Gam from Beer Fest. She's the little
Dolores
blonde kid-
Leachman.
Yes, that's her. She's on that Raising Hope show.
She's hilarious.
She's the
The-
grandma on Malcolm in the Middle.
She's
Oh,
the
and
kid's mom on Bad Santa.
She's
right?
hilarious.
Yeah, she's funny in like everything she does. Although she's given like nothing to do in this movie.
Right.
But right, yeah, the scene.
So they're kind of getting caught already in their lies because they've only had a night to cram all this information in.
Yeah. And Kevin Hart's having to pose as a preacher, a military preacher.
Yeah.
Right? So he's in like
priest,
yeah, sorry. He's in like his fatigues, but he's also got like his
he's got the camo pants
and like
and the priest
the black
shirt
like
with the
reverend
little
shirt with the white choker thing. And
Joker thing. Oh my god.
and like you say, he's getting caught up in his lies, and they get so caught up and on the spot, kind of like backed into a corner.
Well, I think the main guy was about to tell the truth.
Josh Gad looks like he's about to spill the truth, and Kevin Hart
looks like a big hot pot of beans.
beans or chili or something right into Josh's Gad's lap, and that
He jumps up,
knocking over a candle, right, and it like rolls down the table or something to
starts the grandma on fire.
yeah, and just the grandma catches fire, and you're like, this scene that escalated quickly.
It's too outlandish. It just doesn't fit with the rest of the movie.
And his sister, for whatever reason, and I know there always has to be one person in the movie who is like onto them, but like is really given no, I don't know. She's just like from the start. She's just like, oh, I don't believe it. I don't buy it. Something's up. Like,
yeah, but she's a good sport about it.
she is a good sport. I can't sit here and say that she was like a bitch about it, but just knowing from that's like looking at someone and be like, you sure didn't judge him by that book by its cover? Really, you think? I don't know. She didn't have to be out the gate, like.
I mean, it was pretty outlandish.
But once her and Kevin Hart kind of start talking, it's cliche that he asks her out at the end.
No, that's fine because it plays on the like Kevin Hart's always a character.
I'm saying I just saw it as cliche. Like once they start talking, like the first thing they say to each other, and like they almost kind of have like that like.
They do end up together at the end, or like start to.
Well, I mean, he is like, hey, I know this is a weird situation and all. Would you mind going to get?
I felt like I saw that coming though.
That's what I'm saying. Is what I saw it coming. I feel like early.
They telegraphed the shit out of that.
Yeah, for sure.
But overall, awesome plot, like story.
Plot
like
was
having
cool.
to hire
Yeah.
like this guy who's he talks about the first experience, and he's like, that's when this guy said I would pay to have someone like someone say all those nice things
like
about me,
yeah.
and he was like, bam, best man Inc.
Yeah.
And from there he says this flourishing business. He's got the photos from all of the people he's like Hitch almost, like, hey, these are all the couples I've helped. This is all the best men I've helped.
You think that's where some of the inspiration for the movie came from?
I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, if you can make a movie about it.
Hitch is helping men get girls. Kevin Hart was helping men keep them.
Yeah, he was helping. I mean, the sad truth is there's probably guys out there that are like, I don't have friends. I don't have a lot of guys I'm close with. Like Josh Gad spends the whole like first 5 minutes of the movie like calling these guys, and they're like, I thought you were dead, or
Yeah.
well, we haven't really talked in like 5 years. I didn't invite you to my wedding. It'd be weird if I went to yours. Sorry, man. Like, and the sad truth is, there's probably guys out there like that. Sinners, if you're one of those guys, damn it,
We're your friends.
I'm feeling you, okay? This movie is for you. Watch this, gives you hope. Maybe find Kevin Hart to help you out. I don't know. And but each of these movies, I feel like touched on a different aspect of like a wedding.
Yeah,
that's the beauty of the choices I think we got to make. Like Wedding Ringer is all about the best men.
The best man, the groomsmen,
and then you got
bridesmaids. Is
Right.
The contrast to that, all about the
brides, which was still funny, just in not like
just in a
laugh
different
out
way.
loud, knee slapping. I'm gonna choke on the water I'm drinking. Funny.
Definitely a comedy more for the ladies, but it's still definitely hilarious.
Very well executed. All the bridesmaids were funny in their own way.
Yeah.
All of them.
Definitely.
Melissa McCarthy, the blonde chick, the
The
Kimmy
blonde
Schmidt.
chick from Reno 911, she's my favorite.
Yeah. I feel like they just let her like be like
Super good in the
Goldbergs.
Goldbergs, yeah. That's a great show.
A lot of that cast went on to do a movie I thought Kristen Wiig directed.
Isn't that Just Friends? Or not I'm sorry. Friends with Kids?
Friends with Kids.
No,
yeah.
it wasn't
I've never
Kristen
even heard of
Wiig
that.
directed it. It was the chick Adam Scott is with. She wrote and directed
Oh,
it. the
okay,
blonde.
yeah, you're right.
But
But it's
you
got Kristen Wiig. It's got Chris O'Dowd, who's the cop, the Irish cop.
John
It's
Hamm.
got John Hamm, who's like the fuck buddy guy.
Okay.
And he is the ultimate
And Maya Rudolph.
John Hamm is the ultimate doucher, fuck buddy guy friend in Bridesmaids. Like Kristen Wiig kind of sometimes is like, oh,
really is,
well, I
yeah.
thought I could stay over, or I thought you could go to the wedding, and he's just like, I'd have to tell people that our relationship.
so hard.
I love
that girl.
I
He's
love
like,
what he's like.
what do they call that? Like bitch swerve.
He's
Not,
like, oh, this is embarrassing. I really want you to leave, but I don't know how to say it without sounding like a huge dick.
Yeah, he just lets her have it.
and pulls up, and he's just like, hey, fuck buddy. And Chris O'Dowd, is that it?
Yeah.
Like he just looks at him, just like, you fucking kidding me right now? Like you didn't want a relationship with me.
For a while, it was kind of like nice guys were finishing last. Like the cop got sidelined, John Hamm got to get in there, and didn't she always have to go to his place too?
Yeah,
When
of
that
course.
Yeah. Because
he was operating.
well, she even says, talking to Maya Rudolph, like everything she says just screams fuck buddy. She's like, he called me super late. First, obviously he's done with his day. He's gonna have you come over there. You guys are gonna have fun or whatever she said to Maya Rudolph, and he's gonna toss you aside like yesterday's trash.
And then, at the end, you're no longer my number 3.
Oh yeah, like that's like the ultimate like.
yeah, he was just burning her all up
Yeah.
and down.
I think they're like friends in real life, or
Yeah, they were. It's weird, yeah, because they were a couple in Friends with Kids, and
Yeah.
the cop and Maya Rudolph are a couple in that. So it's weird, seeing it.
these actors have definitely intermingled with each other's stuff. I think they've all probably been on Saturday Night Live.
2 of them are going to be in the new Ghostbusters coming up.
That's right. We have Kristen Wiig and Melissa McCarthy, who was the tomboy
Same director,
bridesmaid.
right?
Same director, Paul
Feig. Oh, is it Feige?
I don't know.
Feig or Feige or Feige or
Those guys with those F names really need to, whether it's Kevin, Paul, they need
Yeah.
to get on it.
I will say Melissa McCarthy was funny in Bridesmaids. She was funny. I'll give her that. I don't think she was worthy of an Oscar
Yeah,
though.
so she gets nominated for
Best Supporting Actress
in a
and
feature
won,
film. No,
right?
she didn't win,
Oh, she didn't win?
thankfully.
Okay. Well,
But she
yeah,
gets
thankfully.
nominated for this movie for a comedy. That's so weird. I had a real problem with that. Like, Leo can't grab an Oscar to save his fucking life. Obviously.
And
in
he's
jail
like the
so
main
recently.
guy.
And Melissa McCarthy goes out and does this comedy and gets, just in a nomination, or a nomination. She doesn't win.
And it's
But I had a problem with it. I was
it's-
upset.
It's
Yeah.
one of those, like, she was almost like just the group member. They all had like funny one-liners, right? They're all given like, let's say, the same amount of screen time, except like Rose Byrne. She's the exception because she's protagonist, whatever you want to call it.
Antagonist.
Yeah, the bad one or whatever it is.
Yeah, antagonist.
It's one thing if Rose Byrne got nominated, right? She's the standoutish one, but you just chose one of the like 4 bridesmaids who had just the amount of same screen time as you, who to me were probably a little bit funnier than Melissa McCarthy. But again, they're all different characters. So I was like, I feel like they almost just like, let me close my eyes and pick one of the bridesmaids. Who's it going to be? Melissa McCarthy. That's who we're going to get.
Yeah,
And-
I had a problem.
And this jump-started her career. I don't want to say. She had Mike and Molly at the time.
Well, she was on Gilmore Girls too.
Okay, all
she?
right. And I don't know if that show
Yes,
Mike
sir.
and Molly came after that or before that. But this, I feel like, threw her headfirst into the movies.
Well, definitely on the big screen. Yeah.
And definitely with Paul Feig. Or
Yeah, I
Feige.
think she's
She was in
been-
that Spy movie.
Did he do that? He did Spy.
Yeah, Spy with Statham.
He did Spy.
Rose Byrne
He
again.
did the one with Sandra Bullock, The Heat.
He did the Heat with Melissa McCarthy again.
Yeah.
So this guy's
Did
definitely...
he do Identity Thief?
No, I don't think he did
I know
Identity
it was
Thief.
terrible.
But that was right after...
There's only a couple things I've ever liked Melissa McCarthy in. This is 40. She had a very small role, but it was hilarious.
She had a small role in Hangover 3. But you feel like you watched that and you got that role from your role in Bridesmaids. Like... You're going to be Zach Galifianakis' equally weird
Yeah, that was
woman.
a good fit though. That was a good fit.
I'm not knocking that.
I was more happy with her seeing her there than like some dime stunner, like some
Yeah.
cliche.
Like some like Beyonce beautiful chick who's just acting weird. Like, no, you got an equally weird.
Yeah, so I thought that worked, but
They look like
other
they
than that,
belong
I'm not
together.
a massive Melissa McCarthy fan.
Yeah, no.
No,
Funny,
definitely not.
talented, absolutely, but just not
Not the
my
best.
cup of tea.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sinners, if you want to comment and tell me why you think she deserved that Oscar nom, go for it.
Let us know.
I can't say I'm going to agree with you.
You
I'm just gonna
know,
be outright with you.
Wedding Crashers was wrong. Twist and Shout was not in any of these movies, I don't think.
That's true. What I think they talk like oh, what Shout plays at like every wedding. Oh my god! And then
Well, just because you didn't see it in the movies doesn't mean that it didn't play during the wedding.
didn't play.
We don't see
it. Didn't play during my wedding.
Well, yeah, that was your fault.
That was.
Did you?
Damn it!
You didn't hire a DJ, didn't you? You just picked music to play.
Oh no, I can't believe I didn't.
So
I think if
been
you would have
played
hired a
that song.
DJ, that would have got played.
I didn't think of that song to put on the music list, and I'm damn kicking myself now because that montage.
Well, we don't know that they had DJs in Wedding Crashers. It didn't show anybody with turntables mixed.
That's not.
I feel like
necessarily-
all those weddings
DJ
were like,
didn't have to have-
like
well, maybe it
you
does.
said, those were big, like classic looking weddings. You know, like they had live
Classy,
bands.
for
You know,
sure.
they didn't have DJs. If we're, talking about their weddings, but the montage, that Shout montage at the beginning of Wedding Crashers, is like that song was stuck in my head. It's still stuck in my head.
Yeah, I'm still.
Days. Like I was sitting there like humming and singing. I've been listening to it on my phone. Like
I'm pretty sure I was, singing it in the warehouse
It's-
today. Yeah.
the way it moves and like what it shows them just like party, and then in the middle is like, oh, here's everything else they do to grab the crowd's attention: balloon animals, dance with the flower girl, talk to some of the older guys, get them joking around, everyone loves you, and then at the end it just finishes with them like spinning the girls like towards the frame, and then it like goes to
Those
them
were perfect cuts.
landing on the bed
they
like
were.
ready to just get taken away into the night. And I was like, Jesus, this is a beautiful montage. Like,
Yeah, that's one thing that Wedding Crashers definitely had over all the rest of the comedies we watched was production value. Like it looks like a good movie, it sounds like a good movie, it feels good, the pacing's good. There was one thing that almost didn't feel right. It's Vince Vaughn ending up with the redhead. It's like he hates her the whole movie, and then he really just is in love with her.
he hates her the whole time he's with her. And then when she's like, Jeremy, I just thought you'd like to hear that stuff. And then all of a sudden he's like, and you know what, Father, that turns me on, Call me fucking crazy for liking that, whatever.
Maybe I'm a little bit
found
fucked
his
up
kind of
too.
crazy.
Yeah.
That's right.
Maybe I'm a little bit fucking crazy inside, who knows? Well, then Owen Wilson spends the same amount of time with Rachel, and then he's like, I think I love her. Dude, you slept with how many chicks?
But that's how he knows the difference.
I guess. I was just like...
I don't know. You're
then,
right. You're right.
Then he spends the better part of the year, like, stalking her.
Sulking.
Because the movie takes place in, like, a year, right? Because in the beginning, he's like, John's birthday... Owen Wilson's birthday is coming up.
they pass his birthday.
Yeah, and then afterwards,
true.
they come back to it. So then it's like...
That's even good. That's even a good way to like tell you about the passing of time. Wedding Crashers is just an all around.
Yeah. And then he's like, I got my ass kicked by Zach again. So it definitely shows you, because it time jumps, like 8, 9, 10, 11 months, whatever. It's kind of a big range.
Yeah.
But I just thought both of them kind of ending up with those girls was a little unbelievable. But that just makes the whole movie. Two best friends get to hook up with two sisters.
Well,
I can't
well,
knock that.
the redhead was
Wealthy
crazy.
sisters.
So
Wealthy sisters.
I mean, that's not surprising that the two crazy people end up together.
Wait,
But
you and what was our
the redhead and Vince Vaughn? Like, I don't think that's crazy.
Well, like you said, he didn't care about her. Like,
Yeah, he didn't care about her at first, but
and really, all she was, I guess, clingy, right?
what was a
But she
stage 5
wanted-
clinger?
Stage 5, virgin, clinger, we need to go. And first, Owen Wilson was really a dick about
Yeah.
not leaving him, like not leaving with him, because if one of you, I feel like if someone had said that to me, I'd be like, oh man, well, let's get you the fuck out of here. Like, she's got a boyfriend, right? Like Vince Vaughn says, oh, well, hey, man, game over. Like, sorry you chose the bridesmaid. And I'm surprised that doesn't happen before. Like, they choose a girl who's taken, like, they just happen to spot all these single girls at these weddings. Like, they always pick a girl who's single. And you haven't run into this boyfriend problem. We don't know that.
Yeah.
But I'm saying just because they're a bridesmaid or whatever, doesn't mean they're going to be,
Single and ready to mingle?
yeah.
One problem that I had was they say, Vince Vaughn finally convinces Owen Wilson that they need to crash the secretary's daughter's wedding. Secretary of State or whatever.
Yeah,
he is.
Secretary of Treasury, right?
Oh, is that whatever he is? Yeah,
So-
his
yeah.
daughter's wedding.
Secretary of
So they're
something.
like, okay, I don't want to half-ass it. We need to be planned and all this kind of stuff. They get the plans, they go over it right, they study it, and then they still go in as Uncle Ned's kids.
Yeah.
Brother Aunt Liz. And I'm like, if you studied all this shit, wouldn't you know that there is no Uncle Ned?
Yeah, there's an Uncle Ned. Oh,
Not at that one. I mean, they were all like,
yeah, that's the point.
that's...
But there was an
hold
Aunt
on.
Liz.
Hold on.
I don't know, they didn't acknowledge either
Aunt
one.
Liz was dead, remember? She sends her regards from the grave.
Yeah, that's true.
That wasn't the secretary's wedding.
Yeah, it was.
That was the first wedding to go to. That was the Jewish one.
No.
He's
No.
like, from the grave,
No,
we've
no.
become very spiritual.
No.
It's at
That
that
was the main
secretary's
wedding.
daughter?
Yep.
Because he's like, Vince Vaughn gives Owen Wilson shit about it. And Owen Wilson's like, no, rule number whatever, up-to-date family tree, that's your fault. And he's like, rule number whatever, play like a champion, no excuses. And it's like, well, no, Owen Wilson's right.
No, they get asked at the dinner table. Brad Cooper's like, how you guys part of the family? He's like, we're Ned's kids.
No, it happens when they're sitting at the
Brother
altar,
of Aunt
too.
Liz.
Yeah,
when they're sitting in the seats waiting for the
They
procession to start.
weren't talking to Bradley Cooper during the wedding. They were talking to someone else. They just keep it going because that's what they've told everyone. Aunt Liz is real, but she's dead. So now they know she's dead. They can just move on.
I don't think that's the secretary-daughter's wedding, though.
It was.
Yeah,
I watched
it both.
I literally watched it this morning at 3
Because remember, he turns, and then he's like...
Yeah,
Check
no,
out
I know
Red.
all the
It's like,
quotes. I know what he
dibs.
says. I saw it, but I just still don't think that it's...
I'm
I'm
fairly...
gonna fight you guys on this one. I think it's the first wedding they go to, the Jewish one or whatever.
Well, you know, man, you're entitled to your opinion.
Yeah,
you're wrong, but it's okay. We still love you.
like I said, I think it was at the other
Fuck
one.
you guys.
I could be wrong. Sinners, I don't know. Comment, tell us when that took place. I thought it was at the senator's wedding.
Secretary.
Yeah, goddamn it. Sorry, secretaries. It starts with an S. Who cares?
Government.
S-E.
They're in government.
In, sort of. But yeah, I don't know. Wedding Crashers definitely takes the cake. Which, looking at all of the main weddings in the movie, which one had the best wedding? Like, which one had, like, let's say, like, the most wedding appeal to it?
Like the best wedding to go to?
Like, best represented, sure. Honestly,
Probably Wedding Crashers.
Wedding Ringer looked pretty cool. If all those guys were there, like, I'd be like, man. Because you see them instantly just, they almost all get backed into a corner, right, as they say, and, like, forced to, like, show their party tricks because they, like, don't know what. The whole plan starts to backfire. It almost starts to look like, you know, like, nothing's going according to plan. And that kind of disappointed me because they, like I said, they were on it. They practiced hard. They had all this stuff down, and then, like, 5 minutes into the wedding, it's looking like, oh, no, there's a lot of, we don't know what to do, so let's just pull out the party tricks. And then at the very end, when they're like, this ain't real, it's all a sham, they're fake, I'm fake, that bitch don't love me, I'd be like, I'm gonna keep drinking. This is the best wedding ever.
Yeah, I think Wedding Crashers definitely makes weddings look the most fun.
That's true. I guess
it is all about perspective.
I
though.
guess
you're seeing the weddings through the perspective of the guys having the most fun.
that's true. I guess if I saw 2 guys at my wedding doing what Vince and Owen did, I'd be like, yo, man.
You wouldn't invite them up there to cut the cake with you?
No, I can't.
would.
I can't say I would do that. I definitely, because I'd be like, who the hell are these guys?
You don't want to take a selfie with them?
I would be the
Photo
one
op?
that's like,
Vince Vaughn, I know you're listening.
You're the only one
Hit
who's
me
okay
up.
with it,
If I get
Tyler.
married,
I don't know.
you can cut the cake with me.
Vince, if you're listening,
Oh, if it were Vince Vaughn, but not
No,
Vince
yeah,
Wedding
yeah.
Crasher type
Yeah.
guys.
I'd be like, who are these? Well, remember I had at my wedding those like 4 like bros like walked in, and I was instantly like, who are these guys? And do we need to step outside right now?
Tyler would have let him cut the cake with
Are
him,
we-
so.
Tyler would have been like, oh, you don't know anyone? Oh, hey man, Chris is up there cutting the cake. There you go. And I'd be like, groomsmen assemble. Like, let's take this outside and have a knife fight. Like, let's
Well,
do
our
this.
wedding's supposed to be fun. Why are there all these like rigid rules of like what you can do and what you
It's
can't
supposed to
do?
be
or
fun
whatever?
with people you know and love, not the sea of bros.
But apparently everyone loved them at these weddings. You know.
Even the butler in Wedding Crashers was like, she's with that guy from the wedding that everyone seems to love so much, and you couldn't tell whether it's like,
He likes them or not.
yeah, and you're like, well, do you like? I don't know. Do you like him? Maybe you don't. And then Bradley Cooper's automatically like, oh, that fucking guy. Like,
And then, but the butler does end up like letting him into
yeah,
the
no,
wedding later.
the way he said it, though, was really like I don't know why, but everyone seems to love that guy, and I'm not. I'm watching my shows,
He's watching the stories.
yeah, watching his stories that he, I guess, may or may not get paid to do. Didn't really do
He's
much.
pretty confident that
Didn't really do
that's what
much
he gets paid to do.
butlering.
Well,
you
there's
know.
a deleted scene where you find out that he smokes a lot of weed. I guess
Is that in like the unrated? Is it like a?
it's just a deleted scene.
Okay, I feel like maybe in like an unrated version or something. I feel like I saw that.
Maybe.
Wedding Crashers unrated. They should make it. If that's not a thing already,
It
they
is.
should have that.
Of course it is.
Okay.
There's a difference in the montage that you were talking about. There's no nudity in like the theatrical release. I don't think.
Well, it's just the 2 girls at the very end.
Oh yeah, but
I think
the unrated is
the
like
unrated is they had all the girls were
Yeah.
fall down topless. That's really the only
that's the only
in the
difference I can point
montage.
out. Oh, I guess we haven't talked about Will Ferrell's character yet in Wedding Crashers, which
Oh,
was amazing.
Chaz.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it was Chaz, right?
I love how they're all like, he's so crazy, but he also might be a genius because he's cashing in.
It doesn't say he was the first Wedding Crasher. He talks like
He's
these
in
are titles.
He's in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, Wedding Crashers pass these titles on to future Wedding Crashers or Wedding Crashies, whatever. And this is one of those Will Ferrell was at a really high point in his career with this. He had a lot going on. Like Old School was just a few years before this. I don't think Talladega Nights had come out yet. But Will Ferrell was really on his face was starting to pop up everywhere, especially in like a Vince and Owen movie.
Yeah,
and for him to show up and be Will Ferrell, loud and cuss, was really a treat.
Yeah, it was good.
Well, he does what he always did. He did the same thing in Starsky and Hutch.
Yeah,
they all do the same thing in
Zoolander.
1.
Like, hey, we're gonna give
Zoolander. He came in and just like had a small part. But
you have a small,
very
crazy, memorable role, and you're the guy. You're the guy that's going to do it, Will, because you're Will Ferrell, and you're loud, and you're like the same guy in every movie.
Kind of. Everything Must Go.
He's got a few...
Was different, but that wasn't good. Oh, I Will Stand Up. Stranger Than Fiction?
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm not saying...
Was great,
He
and it was
doesn't
totally a different Will Ferrell.
Yeah, he's got a few select different movies. I feel like a lot of the time. A lot of these comedians are the same guy in every... Like Adam Sandler, Will Ferrell...
Well,
they're
then
the same
other guys,
character.
he was different in other guys. I mean, he got loud in a couple parts.
No, I'm not saying he can't play someone different. It's just I feel like
he doesn't.
His career has been made off of being the loud, crazy, obnoxious guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's like kind of like sometimes
he's
bumbly,
just
quiet at
a taller, hairier
times.
Charlie Day.
No, Charlie Day's way better.
They're both loud idiots.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I get. I want to find.
Well, Adam Devine as well.
Which I've mentioned before. He's just a loud dude. I don't know. Loud doesn't make you funnier, but that's how they all.
They
act.
are funny though.
They are funny, but you don't need to be allowed to do it. They all scream. They all act crazy. Charlie Day, like I said, just gets annoying. I'd rather watch Will Ferrell.
Man, I'd rather watch Charlie Day for sure.
But
That's just because of
disagree with me on.
It's Always Sunny though. It's Always Sunny is one of the best comedy TV shows ever made.
I don't know.
I'll stand behind that 100%.
I'm both. I could see them elsewhere. I don't really. Will Ferrell, I've seen you enough. Unless you give me something really different, I'm like, oh, Will Ferrell movie. I'll check it out. When it comes to Redbox
You ever
or
see
DVD.
Casa de Mi Padre? I haven't.
Is that the one it's like all in Spanish?
I think so.
That looked dumb.
It didn't look
awful.
didn't look good to me.
Yeah, I'm not saying it looked great.
Like Nacho Libre didn't look good to me either.
It was okay. Nacho Libre was okay.
Like I don't know. Not my type of thing. Not my cup of tea.
Should have been wedding comedies.
Should win in comedies. Well, look at Sean William Scott. He made his career off being that asshole. Like the not lady killing, I guess. Like the women hating, like disrespectful, ignorant asshole.
He's always got like a really redeeming moment in the movies. Like in American Reunion, when the one guy is being an asshole and he's like, "Go ahead, hit me. I'll sue you. Blah 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 for everything you got." And Sean William Scott comes up and knocks him out.
Yeah.
And he's like, "You can go ahead and sue me because I don't have shit."
I don't have jack shit.
He's like, "I'll be your asshole."
Well, even in like the small role he was in Final Destination, he was still kind of like that, like that assholey, like not selfish, I guess. Can't think of the right word.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
He's also good in Role Models. Balls Out, Gary the Tennis Coach.
I never saw
funny.
Balls Out. I watched a little bit of The Goon.
Goon was okay.
I turned it off.
I thought it was okay.
Yeah, I liked it.
I think I had like
I don't even
half
like
an hour left,
sports
and
movies.
I just was like, okay, I'm done watching this. Sean William Scott was like this awkwardly weird guy, and all he wants to do is like, I just want to get in the game, coach. Oh wait, I can't because I'm just a goon. Ugh.
So you complain about him playing the same character, and then he plays a different character, and you turn it off?
Well, it didn't have to be a good character. He played someone different. Doesn't mean it was good. Doesn't mean I like it.
Yeah, I think it was fine.
Daniel Day-Lewis could play some character, and I could fucking hate it, even though he's like, arguably one of the greatest living actors right now. Just because they do something different outside of their stereotype doesn't mean I'm going to like it.
That's true.
Like Will Ferrell and Casa de Mi, whatever you said. Didn't have no ambition to see it. I probably will never see it. Don't care to see it.
Even in the roles Will Ferrell was good at, they're not always good again. Anchorman 2 sucked.
Oh yeah,
Zoolander
see,
2
It
that's
was
true.
too far out.
They tried so hard on Anchorman 2, and it was like, I turned it off.
I did too. I didn't even get.
I didn't
far.
get very. I probably got 20 minutes.
I didn't get 20 minutes.
Like literally, all I remember about that movie, and I might be wrong, is every time they get one of their old guys back, and they're asking about the next one, it all starts off with, "Oh, you didn't hear," or something along those lines, and it's just like something equally as like weird, and I was like, done. Such a disappointment. I think critically it was disappointing. Fans were disappointed. And I don't know if they ever came out with one of those like, Will Ferrell has an interview about the backlash of Anchorman 2 and how the most anticipated comedy of 2014 disappointed. Like Ghostbusters, if it does bad, they're going to interview the shit out of all those girls and be like, oh, turns out everyone who said the movie would suck was right. How do you guys feel? Like Anchorman 2, they were like, no, let's forget those questions. We don't want to say this was a disappointment.
Well, what's funny is Ghostbusters is actually getting decent reviews. I wouldn't say rave reviews, but
Yeah, I think it's garnished some well. You said it's running fresh on Rotten Tomatoes.
I heard that on the radio. I haven't checked.
We have not checked? Okay, we'll have to check that out sometime. But I hear it's getting good reviews. I also hear that no one likes the remade theme song with Fall Out Boy and Missy Elliott. Nick, have you?
I don't know. I don't care. I don't want to hear it. The old one's
so
awesome.
you haven't heard it. Okay.
I think
It's-
I have.
We'll
a little
hear
bit
it
in
next
in the
week.
commercial, yeah.
Yeah, I'll tell you right, it's not worth it.
Ghostbusters is at a 75% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Go them.
Yeah.
Like I said, I have had hopes for this. I was never on the hate
And Mike
bandwagon.
and Dave's is at a 40% right now.
So it's
not fresh. It's rotten.
so the green splats are the bad ones, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which I disagree. I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I thought Wedding Ringer was hilarious, but just those few scenes where we had issues with, I feel like was enough to bring it down from like big release to small release.
Oh, The Purge. The Purge is rotten right now, and so is Independence Day.
So is Tarzan. All the good movies are.
Damn.
Yeah, I don't really take Rotten Tomatoes seriously at all.
I don't take any critics serious. There's not a critic out there where if they're
Except
like
for the Cinamen. The
whatever-
Cinamen know what's up.
The Cinamen know what's up. Not that I'd really call us critics, although I guess that is what we're doing. But I would not tell someone I'm a movie critic.
I'm just a guy that likes movies.
I'm just a podcaster from Brooklyn / Kearney, Missouri.
And I could do this all day.
I could do this all day, Stark. But yeah, there's not a movie critic out there where I take their word solely. I don't read any reviews of the movie I'm going to go see before I see it because I want my own. And afterwards, I'll look at it and be like, okay, I agreed or disagreed with this.
Lights Out is at 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Is it out yet?
Something else was too, I thought. Maybe it was like a TV show or something. I don't know. The shark movie.
But it's only 8. It's only 8
I'm not
reviews
the
so
only
far.
person that doesn't give a shit about Shark Week. Do not care. Not in a shark.
The Shallows looked cool.
I thought The Shallows looked kind of interesting. To me, any shark movie, oh god, you're either shitty as Sharknado, or you're like
Shark Exorcist.
or your Jaws. I feel like there's no gray area. Like Jaws was, shitty Jaws sequels. How is The Shallows doing? Is it even out yet, or is it
It's fresh.
Okay.
76%.
running fresh to death? That's awesome. That's awesome. Out of let's see if you're going to give me your standings here on these
The ones that we
five
watched?
these 5 wedding movies, guys. Where are we at, Cinamen?
I'm going to go Wedding Crashers at the top.
Okay.
Easy choice. Then I'm going to go Mike and Dave, American Wedding. I'll put Bridesmaids and Wedding Ringer about the same place. I think Wedding Ringer was funnier, but I also had way more problems with Wedding Ringer.
That's true. Now that we're talking about the wedding ring, I'm looking back at that and American Wedding, and I'm trying to decide because American Wedding definitely flows better story-wise. Like I said, really my issues is issues as a fan of that franchise. So I'm gonna
Look at it as a standard.
yeah. Let me take it back here and look at it from an outside perspective. Nick, do you have your? If you're gonna put them in top to bottom here.
Top to bottom, I would say Wedding Crashers, American Wedding, Mike and Dave, Wedding Ringer, and Bridesmaids.
Okay, so I have not seen Mike and Dave, so I think I definitely Wedding Crashers towards the top. I think you're right. Probably American Wedding will probably go up on my notch. I'm gonna go Wedding Crashers, Bridesmaids, American Wedding wedding ringer.
I'm surprised to hear you put wedding ringer at the bottom. Like when we talked about it, you seem
I
like you
have
were
a lot of
into
praise
it.
for it, but I was forgetting a lot of these.
Down.
Yeah, like because to me those like crazy moments to me don't make it funnier. It's just to me like I was like, oh,
That's just a part of the movie you got to sit through to get to the good stuff.
yeah. I was like, man, it just took a turn down shitty town.
I will say I did like all of these movies though.
I did like all these movies. This was a fun week. I'm glad we got to bring it up a little bit, especially me coming fresh off my marriage. I was like, oh, I should have used that song. Damn it, I should have had that at my wedding. Damn it, I should have had that at my wedding.
Yeah, we should have.
We should have done this earlier.
Good job, Mike and Dave. You should have come out.
Damn it, Mike and Dave, making me jealous.
A month or two earlier.
Maybe we need to go wedding crashing, guys. Well, you two, I guess not.
Well, you can go. You'll be our wingman.
I'll be the wingman. Any girl that makes an advantage, I just swerve out of the way, right? Like John Hamm. And I'm like, oh, yikes. Hey, there's Cinamen, Nick, and Tyler over there. Go get them. Or Cinamen Justin. You too. I don't want to leave Justin out, our editor. Wouldn't be here without him. All right, guys. So out of 10, Mike and Dave need wedding dates. Where are you guys gonna? Because you said you give it. You recommend it to everyone, right? Sinners. They're telling you.
Man, yeah, this is tricky. I give it at least a 7.5. I'm thinking about doing 8, but I don't know. What do you think?
I'm thinking about a 7.5.
7.5.
Okay, we'll agree. We'll do 7.5.
7. The Cinemans have spoken. 7.5. That would if I was an audience, I would go see it with that rating. So,
well, okay, what would you give Wedding Crashers? I know it's not necessarily the
Oh,
main
man.
focus of this podcast, but it definitely has taken up probably the most time.
like Wedding Crashers to me is like a 9 or 9.5. I feel like.
Yeah, I'm definitely with
really
that.
I
high
agree.
up there for me.
Yeah.
9 at least.
At least a 9.
This is probably my number one favorite comedy of all time, and it's definitely in my top 10 movies of all time.
Yeah, definitely up there.
Such.
I'm gonna give it a 9.
It's one of those I laugh every single time I watch it.
Yeah, it's.
And I'm glad that I didn't watch this like a few months ago, right?
Mhm.
Like I'm glad I waited until we had to watch it for this podcast because, like I think Nick said, it's been years since I've seen it.
Yeah, it was good to come out at it with fresh eyes.
Yes, and I think I watched it on my off day, and it was just it's everything a wedding comedy needed to be. Vince Vaughn, Owen Wilson, director David Dobkin at his best. So I'm gonna give like a 9, 9.5.
All right, sinners, let us know what your favorite wedding comedy is. It doesn't have to be one we reviewed today.
There's lots we have not reviewed for this one. There's Father of the Bride. There's the Hangover movies, if you want to call those wedding comedies.
I Love You, Man.
That's one of them. There's a lot of stuff we didn't get to watch or touch upon. So sinners, drop your favorite wedding comedy in the comments below.
Or tell us your favorite funny wedding story.
Tell us why Wedding Crashers is also your favorite, just like ours. Really, anything. So, if you see Mike and Dave, tell us what you thought. Like I said, Cinamen Tyler and Cinamen Nick, give it a 7.5. And if I were you, which I'm not, I'd go see it. That's enough for me to bolster my opinion there. Sinners, make sure you comment, like, rate. If you have iTunes, subscribe. We're on any major podcasting app. Check out our website, www.cinamen.com.
Tell your friends.
Tell your friends. Tell the people at the weddings you go to. The weddings you crash. You know,
Yeah,
get it out there, guys.
just let people know.
Right. And don't be a dick.
Support the podcast.
This. The teeth, the tongue, the taste, the lips. Or whatever Jack Black says in that movie.
The
Whatever.
Cinnamon know what's up.
The Cinnamon know what's up.